All right, ellipses. Basically, an ellipse is different from a circle because you're not going the same distance on both axes. If it was a circle, it'd be the same distance all the way around with your radius. You've got all these definitions down. Make sure focus of an ellipse. You get two of them. For a parabola, you had one. You have two of them. Plural for focus is foci. Major axis is the longer of the two. Very simple. So in this case, here's your major axis. You can tell that's longer. It's the horizontal axis. Here, the major axis is the vertical axis. The minor axis is the smaller of the two. The vertices always lie on the major axis. So in this case, here are my vertices. They're on the major axis. They're the endpoints of the ellipse that lie on the major axis. Yes?
The pink ones or the blue ones are the vertices?
Say it one more time.
The pink
Blue.
one or the blue?
The blue are the vertices. The green are the co-vertices. And the pink are the foci. Okay? And the only thing that's switched over here, the foci will always lie on the major axis. Okay? So notice how they flip from here to here because your major axis is now this one. Standard form we've already talked about. We talked about earlier. X squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. Or you could have, in this case, x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1. X squared and y squared always, for ellipses in standard form, always stay where they are. X always comes first, then y. A and B can flip-flop, depending on which one is the major axis. Okay? Any questions about this? All right, let's look at an example. All right, write the equation of an ellipse in standard form that has a center at the origin. I think all of these that we're going to do in this section have a center at the origin. So the standard form that you just saw on the previous screen with x squared plus y squared, that means your center has to be the origin. And vertex at 0, 5. So right there, when your vertex is at 0, 5, you should be able to figure out what the major axis is. Which one is it?
The y?
The y-axis, because the vertex is in the y spot. The co-vertex, the number's in the x spot, so your minor axis has to be the x-axis. Yes?
Would you ever have it where it's like two real numbers in the vertex?
Not when the center's at the origin.
Okay.
Okay, but when we go further into the book, then the origin's going to change. And
Okay.
yes, that would be the case. All right, so here, this is very simple. We already said that x and y don't switch, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you know this part, x squared over something plus y squared over something equals 1 is standard form. So we got to figure out what that something and something is, and you're done. But since the 5 is in the y spot, what does that tell you to put under y?
5. 2.
No.
5 squared.
5 squared, which
Five.
is 25. Right?
Okay.
So what would go under the x?
We'd have to put 2 squared, which is
4.
There you go, that's it. That's all you have to do. If you're given the vertex
That's
and
it?
co-vertex, you should easily be able to figure out the equation.
Is it always going to equal 1?
Yes, for standard form, yeah. Remember, standard form, you wrote down as x squared over a or b squared plus y squared over a or b squared equals 1. Ellipses will always be set equal to 1. Okay?
Is there ever going to be a case where it's like, you're going to have to solve to make it in simplest form, like divide by the number, get on the bottom?
We'll look at one of those now. All right, next example. So we're good on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next, find an equation of an ellipse centered at the origin that is 12 units wide and 30 units high. All right, so what I would do here,
Oh, is that meaning like along the whole thing?
yes. So I would draw a quick graph. You don't have to if you don't want to. But we know the center is the origin. If it's 12 units wide, how far are you going in each direction?
6.
You're going 6 units in each direction. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then how many would you go up and down?
15.
15.
Is there a way to do these without graphing?
Yeah, you don't have to graph if you don't want to. I'm just showing you how I'm coming up with the
Okay.
answer.
Whoops.
Alright, so there is, that point that I just plotted down here, is that, what is that?
A vertex.
That is a vertex, yes. Okay, these 2 points on the Y are what?
Covert?
Co-vertices, very good.
So now we have more than one vertex?
Yeah, you always have, for an ellipse, you have 2 vertices and 2 co-vertices. The vertices lie on the major axis, which is the longer one, and the co-vertices lie on the minor axis,
They're not
which is
the
the
center.
shorter one. So, here's a quick sketch. Of your ellipse. Because of the distance, you know the major axis is the Y and the minor axis is the X. So it's always in the form of x squared over something plus y squared over something equals 1. So what goes under the Y?
15? No, 15 squared?
Which is?
The...
Oh, 225.
225.
There you go. What goes under the X?
144.
No,
6 squared, 36?
36. Yeah.
Oh, look, I was looking at 12.
Right. Yeah, you
So
gotta
do
cut that
half of
12
that
in
and then
half.
square it.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, so you gotta do half of 12, which
Right.
is 6.
Because remember,
So you take...
Oh, we're
the ver-
trying. Wait, I'm so confused. I'm sorry.
Look,
I don't know what's
to
going
get the number under X, all you do is look at the distance from the center to a vertex, which is how many units?
on. 6.
6, and square that number. To get the number that goes under Y squared,
Oh, I
Look
see.
at
So
the
like a
distance.
12 units is like on both sides of this.
12 is, yeah, 12 is the whole,
Okay, that makes sense.
from vertex to vertex. You only want from center to vertex.
So we divide that by 2 and then square it?
In this case, yes.
Got it. So
If you're going from vertex to vertex, you divide it by 2 and square. All right, moving on.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Alright. Now, write down that formula. We're going to use that formula, c squared equals a squared minus b squared. No, it's not the Pythagorean theorem. That would be a squared plus b squared.
Well, if you brought it over, like you brought the c in, never mind.
No. c squared equals a squared minus b squared. We're going to use that to find the foci. Okay?
Funny word.
Those are
Find the foci
two
of the
factors.
ellipse with the equation 25x squared plus 9y squared equals 225.
Are we gonna have to?
Alright, so the first thing you have to do here is put it in standard form. So how do I get the right side equal to 1?
Divide by 225.
Divide everything by 225.
Yours just makes it right.
And what is 25 divided by 225?
One.
Like
That should
one.
reduce
Oh,
to
25.
1/9, I believe.
Right.
25 over 225 should reduce to 1/9. Because 9
Yeah.
times, okay? And 9 over 225 reduces to 25 on the bottom, 1/25, which equals 1. Alright, so what is your major axis here?
Y.
The Y, because you got the bigger number underneath Y.
So would that make it A?
Yes, that makes that your A squared actually. Alright, so we're gonna use the formula above to find the foci. So we gotta look for C. C squared equals, what's A squared?
25 squared root 5 squared, or do you just?
No, A squared
Oh,
is
okay.
25. What is B squared?
9.
9.
Okay, so what is 25 minus 9?
16.
16. So what is C?
C is 16?
Four.
C is
C is
4.
4.
So C is representing my foci. Since I know that the major axis is the, we've already said Y, so what are your foci? If the major axis is Y, where does the 4 go?
On the major?
Yeah, so what would it be? What would the
0,
coordinates be?
4?
0
0
plus minus
plus or
4,
minus 4.
right? Because you have one above the
Get the square root.
center and one below.
Then how do you find the other? Oh, you only have, okay, never mind, never mind.
Yeah, actually, good call, Josh. That should be C equals plus minus 4. So, now if the major axis had been the X, your foci would have been plus minus 4 comma 0.
Can we always write it like plus minus 4, or do you want us to write it like 0, comma
You-
4,
either
0,
way.
comma negative 4?
It doesn't matter, you can write it like that. Okay, moving on.
Wait.
Okay.
Picture.
Cool. Ready?
That's groovy.
Alright. And the last example, write the equation up on the left with foci. They give you the foci here, so we're going to have to get to our formula again. And co-vertices at 0 plus minus 6. So what do I know so far? We know that it's got to be in the form of x squared over something plus y squared over something equals 1. What can I go ahead and plug in? What else do I know in there?
Well, you
I know one of
the
somethings. X squared over something plus y squared over something equals
Well,
1.
you know that the co-vertice is 6 and negative 6, so you know like the total distance is 12,
Okay.
and you know the
So what can I plug in to the equation?
points, the 12, like the distance thingy.
Well,
no?
won't we have to go backwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to multiply by.
But look, all I need right now, I'm looking for an equation of ellipse. So I know
Well,
an
you don't need
ellipse
to
is
focus.
always in the form of x squared over something plus y squared over something equals 1. You should be able to look at this right here and tell me one of these somethings.
So the,
7.
20, 12,
29.
36,
36 where?
goes under X.
No.
no, there's.
Why?
36 goes under y
And
That's
then
what I meant.
49.
because,
Yeah,
hold
that's
on.
what I was saying.
Because co-vertices were at 0 plus minus 6. The 6 is in the y spot of the co-vertex, so you just put a 36 under the y.
And then 36.
Okay, now, we
But you
don't know the
can't-
vertex.
Yeah, because that's the focus.
I know the vertex.
I know the foci plus minus 7, 0. So we know what? C squared equals a squared minus b squared. What is c squared?
What? C
49.
49, very good, because of the 7.
Wait, how do you know? So the foci is C.
And since it's a
Yeah.
co-vertex C, it would be in the B square.
Correct. So we don't know a squared, that's what we're looking for. So what's b squared? 36. So how do you solve for a? Or a squared?
Add
Add
36.
36 to both sides, and what do you get?
If we add 36 to both sides.
A squared equals 85.
85. And that's all I want. I don't want a, I just want a squared, because remember the equation is x squared over a squared. So I'm done right there.
So you
X
get the
squared
85.
over 85 plus y squared over 36 equals 1.
Yeah, that was easier.
That was good.